There we go. How we doing, man?
Oh my God, so good to be here. The level of professionalism that you bring to the table, it's an honor to be here.
Thank you so much, man.
The way you speak, your kindness, your effort, the professionalism was great. Very impressed. Very impressed.
Thank you. I really appreciate that, man. This is, back to your story is it's my baby. It's my heart and soul. Like going through this entire journey has just really taught me a lot about who I am as a person and really has allowed me to meet some amazing people that I never thought was possible and get to do some cool things with, family. And it's been a wild ride. And so I do appreciate people like yourself coming on, taking the time out of your busy day to, show up and tell your story.
Yeah. Well, what's your goal with this podcast?
Oh man. That's a great question. My goal with this podcast is to be able to share as many stories as possible, right? Meet some amazing people along the way and maybe one day, hopefully, right? Turn it into some type of profession, right?
For sure.
Yeah, absolutely. But right now I'm enjoying everything and I don't want to put the cart before the horse, right? So, but finding a way to, take it to the next level. Obviously, cool. That is my next 1 year goal.
Keep doing it.
Exactly. Well, that's it, right?
Yeah.
It's just like I have this philosophy. It's like just fucking do it, right? A lot of times in my own personal life, I would always hit these walls, and I just get right fucking there and couldn't make it over or through it. And then especially with this podcast, right? One of my really good friends, Tyler Turner, said this because just fucking do it, man. Just fucking do it.
Just do it.
And so now I have this philosophy. It's like, dude, just fucking do it. 100%. See this shit through.
You got to make life happen.
Absolutely.
Make life happen.
Exactly.
That's the mantra to live by.
Yes. What about yourself, man?
Well, thanks for asking because I want to do a good job today at allowing you to control the show because it's your show. And so already I got off to asking you questions and stuff like that because that's just my nature.
Yes.
And so I want to do a good job today at surrendering and just being available for you and your questions and your audience.
Yes.
Hi, audience. How are you today?
Hello. How are you?
Good to
How
be
are
here.
you? Very first thing, we're going to move this stuff over to the other side. Is that cool?
Copy.
Yes. Roger that. There we go.
Acai bowl for the guests.
Yes.
Wow.
Shout out
high quality production.
Shout out to Eat Real Cafe, man. They're definitely doing it.
So how am I doing? I'm doing well. I had a lesson in humility yesterday because I haven't done this in a long time, but I was offered an opportunity to bartend at an event, and I was like, am I really going to do this? Like, I just don't want to do this anymore. I haven't done it in so long. Like, I shouldn't be doing this. Like, what if I see somebody I know? Like, that's like so embarrassing. And then it's like, I started like getting in my head so much. And then I was like, shut the fuck up. Like, just go. And it's only good things are going to happen. Well, this is what happened. I saw in the host's event, like in his Instagram profile, it said Burning Man. So I was like, okay, it's going to be a good vibe at least. And then he had dope houses. So I went literally for 12 hours. I literally just like hung out and had an amazing time. And like, I worked, but I was just like sort of there vibing with everybody and it got off well. I even did see somebody that I've worked with before and it only went positively, and I've made so many connections at this thing yesterday that only good things are going to come. And earlier in the day yesterday, I'm asking God for like connection and more people in my life and like cool new people, and like that's who I met yesterday, and that's the numbers I got, like all these like cool new people that like all these things are going to come. So just about like surrendering and going with the flow of things, and all good things will come.
I think that's so important, man. A lot of times in life, when we are given an opportunity, and sometimes we think that it is, not at the caliber of what we are trying to achieve, our goals and things of that nature. But a key word is humility, right? Just lower yourself down and surrender yourself, as you said. So kudos to you, man.
I don't want to interrupt the show, but you did mention the lights were supposed to go on.
They were, and I just was realizing that just a second ago.
Sounds
so there we go, right? Give me a high five. Yes. As you said in the beginning, I'm so professional, but I forgot to put on the fucking lights.
Well,
Tyler, this is your fault.
It's a day show. It's a daytime show. A captivating way about myself.
I mean, usually I have these systems set up, checks and balances, but I guess I completely failed on that one. So sorry about that, guys.
We're back. And we're back.
And we're back. So tell me, Dylan, where does your story start, man? Where does your beginning start? Because I asked you earlier and you said, let's keep it for the show.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I'm from Brooklyn, New York. I've born and raised in Brooklyn. That's my big part of who I am. It's part of my identity, my shtick.
Yes.
And I went to the University of Arizona for college, which was awesome. And that was like a meant to be type of thing too. Like my life just totally like sort of that was like a new genesis of life for me in college. And then after college, I went home for a little, and then I moved to LA. But why or how did I move to LA? Is because after college, I knew I wanted to be like edgy Ryan Seacrest. And back to the whole make life happen thing, I was in a little bit of a bicycle accident, and I had like my knee wrapped up a little bit. And so I was like laid up on the couch for like a week, couldn't walk. I could walk. I shouldn't walk. I wasn't supposed to walk. So,
I get it.
Blessings. So I'm watching TV. I'm not supposed to walk. And I'm like, wait a second. Hold on. Last week, I was 100% fully healthy, and I'm laying on the couch watching TV doing the exact same thing I'm doing right now, and I really can't walk. That doesn't make sense.
No.
So if I want to be the edgy Ryan Seacrest, I have to go and make life happen. I have to go do that. And at the time, I was always DJing in college and throwing all the parties. And in post-college, I was that guy, like, I had all the music and stuff like that. And this is before playlists, so it's like I did that for everyone. So it's like I'd be on the computer for like 2 hours a day, getting all the new music, playing it at night, doing that, blah, blah, blah. And I always loved music festivals, and I was like, I'm not going back to another music festival unless I'm on the stage.
There we go.
I'm not going to be 1 in 100,000. I'm going to be part of the thing I love so much. So I was so passionate about it. And I wanted to be the next Ryan Seacrest, edgy Ryan Seacrest. So I started shooting a little web show called Electro Night Live, which started on like an iPhone.
Shit, there we go.
And then eventually I had a friend who had like a DSLR, and we started doing like that. And then he had like Final Cut, and we started like just making it a little better. And it was your must-have downloads. 3 must-have downloads, your news, jokes, comedy. Oh, Miley Cyrus did this, or Deadmau5 did this, and oh, tonight at the club, a girl's this, blah, blah, blah. And your number 3 song is this.
Jeez.
Whatever. So we did that for like every week for X amount of weeks. I probably ended up doing like 10, but midway through when I really liked them, or maybe at 12, when I really started liking them and I was like, oh, I would share this with people, I started to send it out to every single outlet related to dance music every week. Nice. Hey, what's up? And this is in 2012. Yeah. So like no one's really doing this. Like, yeah, like Ray William Johnson was doing YouTube and stuff like that. But like there was no influencers. There was no like anything like that. And there was no like framework. So I started doing it, and YouTube was like kind of new, whatever. So I'm doing it. Hey, what's up? Do this like Electro Night Live, dance music stuff, any on-camera opportunity, ready, willing, and able. Boom. Send it off. Nice. DJ Mag. EDC, Ultra, name a festival. So every week, people don't answer. Sometimes they do. And fast forward, Ultra hits me back via Facebook message. Hey, we're actually looking for a guy co-host. I pass it over to the director. No, hey, we passed it over to the director. Thanks. Okay, cool. I keep sending him out. Boom, I get a message. Hey, it's Dylan. They sent me your video. Cool. I'm the director of the thing. We're looking for a guy co-host, actually. I'm like, oh my God, yes. That was the whole idea. It's like, you just do your work, and hopefully someone on the other end is like, you know what we need? We need a guy.
Yes,
we need a guy, a co-host. And then they get an email from someone like me. It's like, hey, we were looking for you.
Perfect, man.
So that's what's up. So they were like, hey, can you just send an audition tape? Boom. I did that. Got the job. I hosted the live stream of Ultra Music Festival for 3 years. It was a dream come true. Even to this day, it's like the best moment of my life, because it was such a combination of like my skill set, my what I'm supposed to be doing in life, plus like the actual energy of the moment, like being live to millions of people in the middle of all that shit. Like, it was amazing.
Oh, that's incredible.
It was amazing. And so I'm still trying to like recreate that a little bit. And it's hard because now you get older and like your profession comes into play, and it's like, now I do this for a living, and it's like I make money, and it's what I do, and it's like work now. And even though it's fun, it's like still like work.
It's your journey is very unique, right? I mean, but you have this thing about you that we were just saying earlier, is like, just fucking do it, see that shit through. Before Ultra and before all of that, and before even creating the show, right? As a kid growing up in Brooklyn, what were your dreams and aspirations?
I wanted to be a Major League Baseball player.
There we go.
And I pursued baseball a lot, and I went to different college campuses to do like baseball camps in Florida, baseball camp, and all this stuff. I played every sport, but baseball was like the thing I loved. Yeah. And then one day I was like on a baseball camp where it was like, national with all the kids, and like you see these kids from like all around the country, and they're so big. Like New York Jewish kid, like, I was good for like the New York City kids, and then there's like the genetics come into play. And, I could play, and I still play now, even in men's Beverly Hills Men's League, John Hampton League, and do that. And then eventually, then in college, freshman year of Arizona, I'm sitting on the field for tryouts, and I'm like, I don't want to go away on the weekends. I don't want to wake up at 5 a.m. I want to be Van Wilder.
Yes.
And so that's what I did. I just literally became like Van Wilder. That was like a dream come true too, because I love that college experience, which was awesome.
It's important.
But as a kid, yes. And so another injury story actually. So it's just a lesson of like when bad news happens, like the good that comes of it. Because now moving backward, junior year of high school, I broke my ankle.
Shit.
Doing ballet in the backyard with my sister on concrete. And so I couldn't play football. And all like my female friends were in like the school play. It's called Sing. And I was always in the plays like growing up. And so but could have never do this because I always had practice. So now I was injured and I couldn't. So I joined the school play and just like killed it, had an amazing time, was amazing. And like making people laugh in like that official manner. I was like, this is what I'm supposed to be doing for sure in an official capacity. So that was like, boom, definitely doing that. And it was an awesome experience. Did it again senior year. And then I was like, really knew that was like for sure what's up.
Was it, when you look back at your life and giving up baseball at that moment, what were your thoughts? Like, was it hard? Was it easy?
It wasn't hard at all.
Yeah.
It wasn't hard at all because I knew what I was really supposed to be doing.
Yes.
It was just like working in entertainment and like working on camera and being that kind of person. And you just realize your genes are like, of course, like genetically, like the guys from Texas are fucking huge.
Yes.
But yeah, no, I wasn't sad at all.
So what about your folks? I mean, you spent your whole life, as a kid doing baseball. Then you obviously get to this point and then you change gears. Were your parents supportive of things like that?
My parents are the best people on the planet. They've always been so supportive. And, even with baseball stuff, they're the ones sending me to baseball camp. They're paying for that. You know what I'm saying? So like they made an investment in my life. And then even after college, my parents, I am who I am because of my parents, like physically, literally and figuratively. So like any of my passions and aspirations really is like a dissemination from them. So anything I'm pursuing, they're like on board because it's like we all share the same passions about stuff. Like my passions are their passions, like comedy and entertainment and movies and TV and film and like comedians and all that.
That whole nine. One thing I can just. I kind of say this a lot is that the individuals that have come on this podcast, the ones that had good, solid, strong parents, right, that really believed in them and supported them, their lives tend to be a lot easier, to get where they're at this moment.
And my whole goals, all my goals in life is like, make them proud and like obviously like make a lot of money to like just like support them and just like give them cars and cash and stuff like that, make their life, because their life was like a struggle financially or whatever. Get that. And so, that's just what it's all about. But like, of course, when I moved to LA, it's like they've been supportive too, and they're not paying my rent, but it's like I need to eat. Of sometimes,
course. No, I get it, man. I get it. When you look back at your life, right, getting back to your stories, like when you started making those videos and you were reaching out to Ultra and doing all of that, how old were you around that time?
Post-college graduate, so 21 years old, 22 years old, yeah.
What was
23.
What was it inside of you that said, hey, I'm going to do this? Because this wasn't a common thing back then.
No, because I wanted to be Edgy Ryan Seacrest. Yeah, and so I was like, you have to go make it happen. So I remember saying, literally, I was sitting on the couch, not walking. I was like, wait, I could walk last week and I was doing this. I have to go make life happen. And so it's a constant reminder to myself today, every day, all the time, because I fall into the traps of like being lazy and feeling self-entitled and feeling like, my natural talent. It's like, no, you have to go make life happen. So what did I do now? The new version of that is I got a little bit of cash from something and I used basically all of it to fund like a pilot that I wrote and directed and shot and acted in, and it's not out for the public, but like we're taking it out to pitch and stuff like that. So when I do post it, maybe you'll tell your followers or listeners to watch it to get the views up.
Listen, ladies and gentlemen.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'll definitely do it. Absolutely.
So it's like, go ahead and make life happen. It's only going to come from that. Like no one's going to like produce you. It's like you have to build something. And it's like, so when this podcast builds up enough of a following to attract whoever that studio is, like they're just going to come calling you.
Yeah.
So you just got to keep doing this.
Absolutely. I think it's important. What is that inside of you, though? Because there are a lot of people in this world that unfortunately don't, right? I mean, I felt, guilty to that myself before when I was younger, just hitting these walls, and I just fucking give up, right? But even at a young age, you saw something and it seems like you've had this just fucking do it mentality. Does that stem from your parents? Does it stem from experiences?
I'm fortunate to have a vision for myself and blessed from God and the universe to have these skills that I feel like I'm just need to live a full life. Like my full potential is just like, I know when I'm living my full potential and living my vision that like I feel good. Yeah. And when I'm not, I don't feel good. So like that's it. So it's just like I want to feel good.
Absolutely.
And I only feel good when I'm doing the stuff like living my, living to my full potential as far as like, it's like I feel like I'm doing a disservice to the universe when and myself when I'm not doing all those things, and it's a constant. I'm constantly dealing with it. I have like the biggest highs and lows all the time. I'm like, you know, big wins when you're doing it and everything's rocking, and you're like, yes, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. This is my life. Like, this is it. Just hold on, and then it's like,
yes. It's like a fucking roller coaster, right? But if you can look at your life from a macro level, right, it's going to be like this.
It is. I know.
But if it's going like this, then you move in the right direction.
Exactly.
Life is so finite, man. It is truly so finite. We're here. Done, and that's it. And so to be able to live your life on your own terms, at least for me, right, it's single-handedly one of the most important things, right? Because we're only granted a certain amount of time, and to fall trap of, you know, getting stuck behind this and having to do the typical 9 to 5, and just like the fucking rat race, right? It doesn't work for me. Maybe for other people it doesn't, but it's so important, and I talk about this all the time, is to live your life on your own terms and to be able to just see things through. So when you eventually got the opportunity with Ultra, right? What was that like?
It was the best experience ever. First year was like the first year was like my first professional job, really. And also fast forward, since then I've hosted shows for MTV, Fox, I've created and sold shows, like I've worked on camera, I've hosted many live streams, so it's become my profession for sure. Yeah. But that was my first professional job. And it was awesome because that's what me and all my friends were doing. And that was important to me because what's important to like my peers was important to me. It's like, that's where my passion was. Like, even now it's harder to find stuff because like myself and my peers, like, what are we really interested in? Like, not that much interesting stuff, really. Like, what people my age like to make money. Okay, I'm not really interested in like finance or like Bitcoin. It's not like my interest. You know, I like pop culture. I like boy bands. You know, I like talking about like NSYNC versus Backstreet Boys. I could talk about like, but like when you're 22, that has like a place. But like in your 30s, or you know, it doesn't really, doesn't have that much value. But so at that time, it was what me and all my friends loved. So being there, talking to all the DJs, like that was what I loved. It was I would do that for free. That's what I loved. I was obsessed with dance music. I still love dance music, but like it was the thing at the time. So year one was great. Kind of got my feet wet. I definitely was not that great. And then season 2, I was second year, I was amazing. I was awesome because I had learned so much, and I had moved to LA in that time, and I'd started doing some other on-camera jobs that was like getting me just better on camera, being more natural instead of like being like a host. Which is like a lot of people don't understand. And so, and then the second year was when that moment happened where I was like, it was the main event of the Sunday of the last night. It was like the headline. It was like Hardwell. It was like Pinnacle, and I'm there by myself on camera, live to millions of people, introducing like the thing, and it was it was everything coming together right there, and I'm still trying to like recreate that and find that again in some way. And so now part of it is like that was my first really big experience like that. Like now, even if I did the Oscars right now, I wouldn't be impressed. Yeah, you know, and that's like just part of growing up, I think. Of course. And part of like profession and work. And it's like, oh, it's work. Yes. And you forget. Some people would be like, oh my God, that's amazing that you did that. I'm like, yeah, it's all right. Yeah. So you got to like, check yourself. But so that was amazing. And then I did it for a third year. And then after that, they didn't ask me back. Okay. Which was fine. I don't think if I could look at it objectively now, which I'm not like upset about, I just don't think their brand and like my energy sort of matched anymore. Okay. You know, I'm more like high energy, you know, a little more, I'm like a little, not like fratty, but like I'm just like more like a guy's guy, you know, like I see hot girls, like I'm going to be like, what's up? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like I think they went more like European, like, of course. European vibe, you know.
Well, I think also the entire industry was also
like America.
Yeah. The entire industry was also changing and was getting more and more and more fucking popular too. I mean, dance music. I remember.
And that was the peak. I was doing it during. So like the fact that I did for 3 years at the peak, and then it's sort of like that was cool. And then I've done other ones. I've hosted Hangout Music Festival, and I've been on site for other, you know. So.
What do you think it was in that second year that really allowed you to? Sorry for stealing your napkin. It's your teeth back in. But go ahead. What was it in that second year for you that really allowed you to take that next level in your presentation skills?
Being so much more confident in like just being on camera and being confident in myself and understanding that like the audience is going to relate to authenticity. You know, that's really it for sure. Like even I always think about this today. Like if you have a job, like if you're an on-camera personality and you're working for a network, let's say you're on Fox or whatever, like to me, like Fox is paying you, but like they're not really like my boss. Like I'm not really answering them. Like my number one priority, like the people to make happy is the people watching. Yeah. And like that's it. Like the audience is your boss. That's
of course
the audience. Yeah. So like no matter what, if you're making the audience happy, you'll make the network or the studio happy.
Absolutely. I mean, I think a lot of people lose sight on that too. It's like you do want to make your bosses happy, right? But it is the people that are watching you, that are connecting with you day in and day out, are going to determine if you're going to show up or not, right? So going through that experience on that third year, did they just not hire you again? You got fired?
No, there was just like no conversation about like, I think I probably like followed up and then maybe either like didn't hear from them or they were like, oh, well, we'll let you know type of thing. And yeah, but also I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot. I don't think I had representation at the time. You know, I was just like sending them emails and I think I probably like, maybe I just like wasn't their energy. Maybe personally, I know that I got in trouble. I get in trouble a lot. I remember I was like, so the TV crew is hired by Ultra. Okay. So it's not like like they are the Ultra TV people, but it's like a separate company. And I was like, always like, not always, but multiple, like a few times I would like send emails to like the Ultra people, not the TV people. I didn't know that they weren't all the same. Like to me, it's like, they're the guy. I didn't know I was like doing something wrong. So I remember they were like kind of upset that I did that. I was like, what? I'm literally, first of all, I have no malintent. I'm really just like trying to just live and have a good time and trying to like make good things. And anyway, that wasn't the cause of it. But yeah, I just think energetically wise, they were kind of over me.
Did that, you know, when you look back at that, did that hurt like mentally? Did that fuck you up?
No, it did not fuck me up, but I'm like sad. Like why, you know, it's nice to be wanted. Of course. Like, but at the end of the day, even today, if somebody doesn't hire me for anything, I'm like, your loss. It's like, what do I say? What do I say? I'm like, they'd be lucky to have me. They'd be lucky. And that's my attitude. It's like, they would be lucky to have me.
Of course. I mean, you have to have that.
You have to have that attitude.
Especially in your industry, man, you have to have that mentality. It's definitely a cutthroat industry.
I just don't like not being involved. Like if I see something and I wasn't like at the audition and I didn't know about it, I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
You know, because if I get in that room, it's a wrap.
It's sold, baby.
Thanks. Going back to the humility portion of the conversation. No.
So people, or I guess for you, right? After that third year, right?
Yeah.
You were in Los Angeles.
Yes.
Right. What was next?
Great question. So, I was trying to like sell things like unscripted shows with like me as the host, and it's hard to go to producers and be like, "Hey, look at me." No one really wants to do that. Like if you came to me and was like, hey, look at this thing I did, like this is nice because it's a platform and you have guests on. But if you were like, that's why it's like you just do your work and let the people come to you, because if you're shoving yourself in people's face, it's not that like, that's why people have agents and stuff, because it's just way easier for someone to digest. Like, so I started to just use my mind and think creatively about like other concepts without me in them. Yeah. So because I was getting a lot more like headway by going to a producer and saying, oh, hey, look at this. Yeah. Instead of look at me, look at this. And so I found a buddy, or my friend introduced me to a buddy who had a sneaker shop. And I was like, oh yeah. He's like, yeah, we buy and sell dope sneakers. And I was like, boom, Pawn Stars for dope sneakers. Let's go make it. And so I hired a couple camera kids. We just like filmed it. I edited it in my head and talked to my editor, and we make a sizzle, took it out, sent them emails, and MTV bought it. It was awesome. It was like 1 for 1. I was like, oh shit, like this is great. This is easy. So we made a development step. The head of the network left. Some new guy came in. It didn't go to air, which was fine. But again, another learning experience. Made a couple bucks for like nothing really. And then I was like, oh, so I'll just do this formula again. And I did it 4 more times basically, where I found a person or a world and I hired people and I made a tape and I partnered with really great people like Mark Wahlberg on a show, with Ben Silverman, who's like a huge guy in the industry, and Thom Beers and NBC. And so 4 other times. Yeah. And again, they didn't sell, but I partnered with these guys in development, and I worked with them and I made the tapes, and it's just like a good good exercise, but yeah, it'd be nice if it's sold. Take it out. We go pitch. We go pitch. We're in the room, and sometimes it's like it's not that good if the producer has more energy than the talent. Which is me. It's like I'm sorry. I'm gonna bring the heat every time I'm in the room.
Yes,
Gotta sell
course.
it.
Well, you got to. It's your baby, right?
Exactly.
Going through this entire process, right? What are building it and it not happening? What are things that you personally take away from that?
It sucks.
It does, right? It does. But you learn from it, right?
Yeah.
And it makes you a better person.
Yeah. I mean, but it also makes you more calculated.
Yeah.
So, you're not so gung-ho about like every idea because like you don't want to put in the time and effort if it's like not going to go somewhere. Even now, I'm still doing the same thing. I'm pushing like these concepts that I made tapes for. And it's just like, people don't answer you. It's just like, that's just the name of the game. And it's like, you just keep hustling and because I believe in the projects. Like, I really believe in the project. Like, these things I'm working on now that I'm sending out, like, this should be on air. And that's how I truly feel. It's something I'd like to watch. It's something I'm really passionate about. And so, I just got to find the right people that also believe in it.
Of course.
And take it to the next level.
Yeah.
But it's hard because it's like you're not beholden to other people, but you're sort of relying on other people. And that's the thing that I do have respect for, like the YouTubers and the influencers and stuff. It's like they're really just doing their own thing.
I know.
And, the money in the audience comes to them, which is awesome. And then so that part I like. So this whole like trying to pitch somebody an idea and have them say it's good and then they invest the money.
Yeah.
And I mean, it really comes down to the money. Like if I had the money to just make all these pilots, and I would just do it myself for sure. Because I do it myself on a small scale. But it's like to really make it legit, you gotta like get some funds.
Yeah, absolutely. But I love what you said, right? With the YouTubers and influencers and even like podcasters, right? It's a completely different world, and it does allow this level of authenticity like never before.
Yeah,
right?
which is great.
It is.
Which is great.
It is, and I think that's why so many people gravitate towards these different platforms, like the younger generation. I mean, even someone like Joe Rogan, getting to where he got, right? Because he just stayed consistent and stuck with his gut and didn't fucking listen to anyone else except himself, right?
And he was doing it before it was popular. And on that note, to me, it's like, no offense to anybody in the room, but everybody has a fucking podcast.
Of course.
And it's pretty obnoxious,
it is.
Honestly, because it's just, it's very narcissistic. It's very egocentric. It's like, I feel like my opinion needs to be heard, and I feel like I need some attention and validation for my existence. Let me have a podcast. When meanwhile, like, that's not what you do. Yeah. Like, go make yourself feel good in another way, because that's what really people are looking for. They're looking for like validation that like I exist and I matter. Meanwhile, it's like and this is something I have to work on. It's like I don't rush to do a lot of this kind of stuff because it's like everybody's fucking doing it. And it's like I like to be different. And even though this is like my field, like this is what I do for a living, it's like, then I could do it and like the cream will rise to the top or whatever. But it's like obnoxious. It's like, go do your own fucking thing.
Yeah.
Well, but you're good.
Thank you. Yeah.
But why do you think everybody has a podcast?
Because it's so easy, right? Because it's so fucking easy to be able to, they have things like Buzzsprout, which just push it out to every single place. The equipment is, relatively affordable. I mean, you could just do it on your phone if you want to.
And that's part of it. It's like the barrier to entry is so low. Yes. And that's the same thing that happened with DJing. Yes. So I was DJing back in college, and that's how I got into, like, that's why I loved the industry. And then I was like, I stopped because like everybody was DJing. And it's like, now you who's been doing it, now you're kind of grouped in with the same group of people that are like this kid that's like, oh, I want to be a DJ, and his like parents buy him a thing, and is like now all of a sudden he's like doing it, and it becomes like this whole thing, and you're like in that bubble. So it's like even now with like podcasts, so it's another guy has a fucking podcast. Like, I mean, everyone. So for me, it's like, I know. So for me, I've always liked the idea of like when you're pitching something to someone and they buy it, there is that barrier to entry. And I like that. Yeah. I like having to make that barrier of entry. Yeah. That separates you from other people that like, this is legit.
Yeah.
So
I totally agree with you. I mean, I think
But I'll tell you, my way of thinking is probably not the best way. I should probably get out of my own way and just say, shut up and just do the work, and all the good things will come. Seriously. And I'm working toward that, and I probably will do that, but it's something for me that I have to like work on.
Well, yeah, I think a lot of times we do get stuck in our own way, right? But that's neither here nor there. I do think that there are a lot of people out there that, have these podcast platforms, that there are a lot of good ones out there. There's a lot of shitty ones out there. There's a lot of people that should be doing podcasts that are not. There are a lot of people that should not be doing podcasts. Then you have things like Clubhouse, which opens it up to pretty much everyone, right? Just talking. But, I do love... for so long there was, you know, this like radio platform and television platform where it was just like 3-minute clips, 5-minute clips, or like, you know, Johnny Carson to Jay Leno.
Right. But being on TV, you had to work your way up and have a lot of people say, this guy's good. Yeah. His talent means something and has the ability to generate an audience for us.
For sure.
Like, now people don't even, I was just thinking about the other day, like I haven't even heard the word talent in front of agent in like a decade.
Yeah.
Like I haven't even heard it be called a talent agent before, because it's not a talent agent. It's just like an attention agent.
Of course.
Because that's what used to, when you saw Eddie Murphy make it because he was talented, now people have jobs or whatever because they have an audience, not talent. But also, I'm not blaming the TV people, because that's the way it is now. Like no one even cares if your television show is subpar, as long as like the marketing is there to match it. Like, and that's what bothers me as a producer. It's like, wouldn't you want, stop trying to like get everybody, because you're never going to get everybody. Like just really do a good job for those people that are watching.
Absolutely.
And that's my sell about myself. It's like, if you're hiring an on-camera talent to like host your thing, it's like, no one's going to do a better job than me.
Yeah.
Bottom line.
I get that.
There'll be a lot more people will bring a lot more followers, but so it just depends on what you want.
Yeah.
So
no, it is. It's so strange, right? Because now it's like these TikTok influencers and these, you know, whatever influencers, they're all given this platform to do these TV shows or movies and things of that nature, where, you know, back in the day, it was like you had to have real raw talent, someone like Eddie Murphy, right?
Like being a television, like having a late night talk show was probably like my dream. My dreams don't even exist anymore, by the way. Like to be that like on camera host, like a Seacrest or like Letterman, like that job doesn't even exist. Like, so for me in my generation, like the kids that are a little younger didn't really, but like I'm born in 89. Like we were sort of like we saw both. We grew up with regular traditional model of things. And then in our later years, this whole it all changed.
Of course.
So it's like what I grew up wanting to be doesn't even exist anymore.
Of course.
Like literally like E! News is not even on TV anymore. Like no one watches Jimmy Fallon. Like
so
it doesn't
weird,
exist. Right? So you have to reconfigure. So what is that now? What is that now is being like an influencer, I guess, and like
for sure
having your own YouTube show, I guess, you know, but I don't know. For me, I have to wrap my head around I
get what you're saying, man. I get what you're saying. Trust me, it's a different time. I mean, I grew up in the era before, you know, the internet, if you will, right? The internet's been around for a long time, but you know, like AOL and shit like that, and cell phones. And then I grew up after, right? You know, I'm born in '86, and so I saw both sides. I remember being a kid that, you know, you went out when the sun came up, and you went home when the fucking, you know, lights turned on, right? And so it's just a different generation and a different time now. Does that make it better or worse? You know, I don't know, right? I don't know, right? I guess it just depends.
And I don't want to be I'm not complaining.
No, I know.
I just feel like I'm commenting on the status of the world.
I think a lot of people, especially like in our age, right, feel the same way, right? They see both sides, right? So, but what I was getting back to earlier is that you had these platforms like a Jimmy Fallon where they have these interviews and they were like really quick, right?
Yeah.
Even like Bill Maher, like quick.
Well, that's the thing too. It's like
it's different
and it's better. Right. That's better. Like those interviews on a late night show, unless you were like Robin Williams, like those always sucked.
Yes.
They were never real.
Of
they
course.
were so manufactured and just whack. But that's how you saw your favorite actor. And like that's why award shows were so big, because this was the only time you're seeing all the people together. You want to see The Rock, you just look at his Instagram.
Of course.
You don't have to wait for the Grammys or whatever. And that's how you wanted to go promote a movie. But it was just so like simple. I liked how simple it was, like the structure of like radio and TV and movies and stuff like that. Now it's just all over the place.
But it does open the playing field for so many more people.
It does.
Right?
It does.
So, you know, people that would never have a chance to do it before now once again, good or bad. There's positive and negative. But what I do appreciate out of all of this is the evolution of long form podcasts, right? Being able to have this long, uninterrupted conversation that's just beautiful.
Completely. And people like it. But you brought up Clubhouse before, and I was obsessed with Clubhouse, and I haven't opened it in a month, and if you share the same sentiment and I think other people do, but I want to know like psychologically why that has happened.
I'm just over it, man. It's
you
just,
don't open it anymore.
No, not
why?
at all.
Why? What happened? No, but like why?
It was
Let's
cool.
talk about it.
It was cool in the beginning. You had people like Elon Musk and fucking Tim Ferriss and all these people, coming together having these conversations. And then I just think it just got so oversaturated.
Yeah.
It was just too much, and I think too many people were talking and just too much going on. Quality as well is not good.
Yeah, I think there was a level of like it actually not being authentic. Like almost everyone was like trying to like be something or trying to like be ultra sensitive, and like you couldn't have a real conversation, and everyone was trying to like be this like marketing guru, like and stuff like that, and it was very cliquey, I think, and I don't know, it's just weird. And it's like I guess it takes a lot of effort. Like putting on podcasts is way better because it's just by yourself. Yeah. You let it wash over you. It's not so interactive, which I think was the selling point of Clubhouse, where it's like, it's live, it's right now. You're hearing it, you're part of it. But like, I don't want to do that. I want to just be in my car by myself with the podcast.
Of course, right? Yeah. This type of platform and this type of format, it's a lot more personal, and it is a lot more authentic, where it's like Clubhouse reminds me more of like what fucking Twitter is, right? And everyone's saying their shit, right? Even if they believe it or not, they have to put on this front because it is this live, I don't know, it's just not for me, right? And a whole bunch of people just kept on trying me to go, and I was listening to it for like a week or two, but then I just got over it really quick. And
it's crazy. I
like a good audio book or a podcast, right? Yeah. So, and then music, obviously. So all right, let's bring it back to your story, right? So you did those 3 years at Ultra, right? Then you started pitching these different ideas. Like what came next? What was like the next thing for you?
Always just trying to pay rent, dog. Just trying to pay rent, dog. What was the next thing? I mean, that's what I do now. That's what I do. I'm a development producer of unscripted television. I work on camera still, have gotten jobs here and there. And then lately I was fortunate for the past 2 years. So when I pitch myself for jobs or whatever, I'm like, my career can be looked at in 3 pillars: the event and the live stream event space, the music festivals, the unscripted television space, and then the past 2 years, I've been fortunate enough to work in the digital community with top flight influencers. Most being that I've been producing the podcast for Logan Paul, which has been a great experience. Nice. So I've been doing that for about 2 years. I got a call from an industry colleague that said, hey, do you know this show? They're looking for a young writer producer guy to come like help. I was like, sure, great. Yeah, I met him. It was great. We've been working ever since together, and it's been a really cool experience. And through that, I've had other opportunities to produce the Challenger Games, which was awesome, which was like that live event with like all the influencers. So that was great. We just produced the live from Atlanta during Jake Paul fight, which was so fun because we got to like hang out and have more like team camaraderie, which I like because I'm just a big like social person. I'm very social. I need to like be around people, and it's really good just to be around people. We have a very large audience, which is awesome. So it's like if we're gonna do anything, it's like worth doing when you have 1 million people watching. So that's been great. And I mean, not much to say about that, but besides it's just great. And I hope we can continue to go big, and for the fight coming up with Mayweather, trying to sell some ads and make some money.
Yeah, that's just crazy, bro. The fight with Jake Paul, it's fucking awesome, man. It's really cool to see these dudes come together and everything that you're doing, right? And everything that you bring to the table. When you look back at it all, right? How does something even like that happen for you, right? Because you started making these videos when you were younger, right? You do the Ultra thing, you start pitching different ideas, right? And then obviously you're at this place now. If you were to look back at your life, like how do you get from here to then finally here?
I don't know if you like actually do it like on purpose, but I think that's the whole point of like saying yes to things. It's because it's like, if you don't want to go to the party, just go, because like you don't know what's going to come from that. Exactly. It's like that's why I went yesterday to the event, because like, I don't want to go, but like I know I'm going to meet somebody that like something's going to happen. And if I didn't go, nothing's going to happen. Of course. So if you go, maybe something's going to happen. And so you have to just go, man. You have to go and do it. You have to just go.
You have to just do it, right? You have to just see that shit through.
And then also, what else am I doing? I've wrote and directed and made that pilot, the scripted series. So that's the next thing, is like getting that sold and made. So I've taken it out. I've pitched that. And now I've paused the pitching because now I'm going to make a trailer for it, have a screening, and get that made and sold. And that's like that's the new golden nugget. That's the goal right now for sure. And in the meantime, keep crushing it, producing, work gigs. And I've done this thing called Self-Made recently on Live by Live, where it was an online competition searching for the nation's best talent.
Okay.
And basically it's like all you. So if you're an artist and you make music and you can upload your song using the hashtag I am self-made, we found the top 8 finalists. We did it all virtually. And Live by Live is a great platform. They have a lot of live music shows. And basically we gave them challenges to do. And the kids were amazing.
Wow.
So impressed with the talent. Like, couldn't believe, like, we asked them to do these like videos. They were delivering amazing videos in like one day. Asked them to write songs, delivering us amazing songs in a day or two. Couldn't believe it. Really, really inspired. Narrowed it down. We found a winner. She won like a couple bucks and A&R deal, and there's a lot of help with her career.
Wow.
And now we're hopefully going to do season 2 Miami.
Wow.
Where we do like a local competition, and then sort of I was in charge with like coming up with like what we're going to do for it. And so what the pitch is like basically find the top 8, narrow it down to 4, 3, 4, 5, have them come to Miami, do like a live reality shoot. And then have like the live performance finale.
Nice. What are some of the challenges that they have to do?
Well, one was like look at a picture and write a song. So kids had like a picture of like cotton candy, and they like wrote a song based on that picture.
Nice.
And it was awesome. Or another picture was like a broken heart, or whatever it is. Another challenge was make a music video just on your iPhone.
All right.
And another challenge, which I didn't really love that much, was just like FaceTime someone and like serenade them. And then the public votes. There's no like judging or anything like that. Like the public just like votes for you, and we tallied up, and there you go.
How do you know these contestants aren't cheating when you say like do it on iPhone?
There was one cheater, but
I knew it.
We didn't disqualify. We knew it, but we didn't disqualify him because it was like the first one, and it was like whatever.
I get it. What is Live by Live? I've seen it, but I don't.
So yeah,
really know.
livexlive.com, Live by Live. It's a live streaming music platform that has content, original programming. We've done the live streams for Rock in Rio. We've done the live streams for Hangout Music Festival, Life is Beautiful, so many more. Wow. I think Rolling Loud they did one year. EDC they did one year. So I'm trying to ingratiate myself with them to have like a real job. Like, livexlive.com.
There we go.
And
sorry, I'm just trying to get this screen up.
100%. And nice. That's it right there.
Shit, here we go. I don't know why this thing ain't working. Tyler, did you do this? Is this your fault? It's your fault, bro. It's your fault. I don't know why it's not connecting.
Wi-Fi or something. It's okay. Whatever, but basically, yeah.
Fuck it.
And
so Live by Live. This is how did you end up teaming up with them?
Okay, I'll tell you, because I think I saw another good story. When I saw they announced like the launch of this company 5 years ago. I was like, that's obviously the place for me. So everything I do is like you hustle. I have agents, I have managers. You have to do it all yourself. Yeah. And then so I was, there's me.
Look at
on
you.
The bottom right.
Oh, shit, there
Wait, did that just pop up on the screen randomly?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so nice that they're doing that.
Look at you. You look so handsome.
Thank you.
Damn. Look at that hair, bro.
Thanks, bro.
You got some good hair.
Wait,
dog.
I like that they made it a pop-up video on the homepage. That's dope. See, there you go. Challenge 3 songwriting.
Holy shit. This is cool, dude. Good for you, man. Wow. Gucci Mane. Fucking hell. Wow, that's really, up. That's really freaking
That's
cool.
funny.
Okay, cool. There we go.
So yeah, by the way, you guys can go check out all my work on my Instagram. And there's a link in bio of my reel. Feel free to check that out if you want to see what I've done. But yeah, I'm all about like talking to celebrities on red carpets and doing funny stuff like that. I got a call. Oh no. I saw that the launch of the platform was coming out. I was like, that's a place I need to be at, because that's where like my passions align. And even till this day, it's been 5 years. I've worked with them multiple times. I would like more of a full-time job, honestly, where I'm like getting paid a salary, but I'm also like boom, going on camera and doing stuff like that. Some way to just like have a steady income, which is always good. And then so literally I either tracked down one of the guy's emails and I got in contact with him, and he was like, okay, I'll be at the Montage tomorrow. I was like, cool. What time? He didn't answer. I'm like, what? Tomorrow? So I showed up at 8:30 in the morning. I sat outside at the Montage waiting for him to show up. Not for me. Yeah. He said, I'll be at the Montage tomorrow, having meetings or something like that. And so I was like, what time? He didn't answer. So I was like, all right, I'll show up at 8:30. Showed up at 8:30, brought my laptop, posted up. I actually saw him, and he was with like other people because he was like having meetings. was like, oh, great. He's meeting with someone. When he's done, I'll go over there. So he has a meeting. Maybe they show up at 10 o'clock. So they have a meeting 10 to 11, whatever. They get up, they say goodbyes. I'm like, okay, perfect time. I'm going to go walk over there. As I'm walking over there, they bring somebody else in. So now I'm like, oh, they're like doing either like interviews or something. And so I was like, oh, couldn't go. I'll go back on my computer. Literally the same thing happened like 4 or 5 times throughout the day where I was going to go up there. And then they were like talking to somebody new.
Oh, shit.
And so I was like, oh, fuck. And so finally, literally like 5 o'clock comes around or 4:55 or whatever it is. And like, I've been sitting sitting outside on my computer the whole day, just like posted up. And, literally it's like 4:55 and they're wrapping up. So I'm like, all right, you know what? This is probably their last meeting, I would probably assume. So as they left, because they were a little bit far away from me, I like sort of followed them out because I was going to track them down. And so I've been emailing with this guy and his name is Schuyler. Schuyler. So boom, I actually did catch him at the right time because they were not coming back. And as they're walking down the hallway of the hotel to leave, I'm like, Schuler. And he's like, how about you get my name right? I'm like, what is it? He's like, Schuyler. I'm like, oh, okay. Hi, Schuyler. Dylan. Meanwhile, I'd never seen Schuyler spelled that way. Since then, I've actually seen it spelled that way a couple times now, but I never knew that Schuyler was also spelled that way. And so I was always, in my head, I was calling him Schuler.
Yeah.
Schuler sounds like a name. Schuler.
Hey, Schuler.
Yeah.
Sounds like it's really the
And how do you get my name right? I was like, oh, okay, I'm sorry. Meanwhile, I was like, it's Dylan. He's like, yeah, what's up? I was like, yeah, man, I'm trying to like blah, blah, blah. And he was like, well, yeah, good to see you. Well, we might have something for you. Why don't you send me a note or something like that? And I talked to him literally as he's walking out. So then I followed up. And then either he personally emailed me or I happened to get an audition to host one of their live streams for Hangout Music Festival, which I ended up booking. And then connected with that guy again. I was like, hey, it's me again. Wow. And so I kind of got in with them. I think I was basically probably their like first talent that hosted anything for them. So I hosted Hangout Music Festival for 2 years for them. I've done another thing with Jake Paul for Live by Live. I've done another just random things. And then this thing with Live by Live, which it's like, okay, I see the thing. My manager goes, oh, it's for Live by Live. I was like, oh, do I even have to audition? Like, they know me there. She's like, just send the tape anyway. Send a tape, end up booking the job. Great, very grateful. God bless. Thank you. Oh, and when I got that first job for Live by Live, I was so happy because I was like, I did that work of like waiting for that guy, getting that opportunity, and then getting the job from that opportunity. Like, I don't want to be handed the job. Like, give me I'll do an audition. You know, that's great. And so the same thing back from the Ultra thing. It's just like, keep pushing, the opportunity will come. So waiting in that lobby all day, getting that thing, booking that. I remember being like,
motherfucker, dude.
Because I fucking got it. You know, exactly.
That is fucking gangster,
that was
man.
dope. It was dope.
Love that.
Really feels good. Like having those moments. So there was other moments where I was like, you know, it's like feels good when you get something. And then, so then with this last one, it was like, oh, I got the job, which was awesome. But it was a good thing because they ended up hiring an independent production company that was doing the auditions that had never seen me before. Right. And when I met him, he was like, yeah, you were obviously the guy for the job, but in your reel, the first photo is me holding a Live by Live mic. So the production guy sent it to Live by Live and he was like, hey, this is perfect. And I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense, Dylan, you're sure. So that was the self-made stuff. And then, yeah, that's the latest. And hopefully Miami comes together and just going with the flow from there. But like, I'm going on a date tonight. Like, I'm putting it on a credit card. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, who knows? You know, I'm grateful I have any room on any credit card. So
no, that's beautiful though. But like, you know, for the people listening, right? Like, you going to that hotel, waiting from 8:30 to 4:55 to only have a couple minute conversation on the way out shows that you have to be willing to put in that type of work and effort if you want to make it. I mean, especially it's like in anything, but in your industry, especially because there's so many people trying to claw to get whatever job there is. It just shows like what type of human being you are, right? Man. You're willing to take that next step, that extra level.
But it's knowing like your vision and like where you belong. It's like, I wouldn't pursue something that like is not the right thing. It's like, but when you know something is the right thing, you got to just stop at nothing.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. So, you know, when to kind of bring it back a little bit, right? you were doing all this like on camera stuff. How the heck did you even lead to becoming, the producer for the podcast?
Right. So I got a call from an industry colleague that said, "Hey, talking as the other person, I got a call from a guy I know that they're looking for a young writer producer for the Impaulsive show. Do you know it?" I was like, "Well, no, but I'll check it out." I obviously know who Logan is. And so I was like, "Yeah, this is great. I would love to take a meeting." Took a meeting. We got along, and that was it. Wow. Super simple. And then sort of just me being there brought in a little bit of like a little structure. I mean, they don't need that much help, especially anymore. But I was at the beginning, if I could add some structure to it, or add some creativity to it, or some segments, which I do, or help with the booking, I'm happy to do it, and I'm grateful to be there for sure.
Absolutely. What does a producer even entail? Right, I hear that word all the time. I don't even know
no, for sure. Means. So I like to consider myself more of a showrunner. Okay. Thank you so much. And that was Logan's words, not me, which I appreciate. So no, I handle a lot when we're going on regular basis. I handle a lot of the booking. So all the guests that come in. So I do a lot of that, a lot of outreach, and try to book the guests. I provide the guys with research of the guests, questions to ask. If I can, create a funny segment that we do during a show. So, More Than 240 is the one that we do a lot, which is like a Twitter segment where we like take a tweet that Miley Cyrus, she's not a guest, but if she was a guest, hey, Miley tweeted this thing, but you can't give your full thought. So it's like we pull the tweet up on the screen and it's like, okay, what do you mean by this? And we go into like a deep dive on that. So just like little funny segments like that. And then, help manage the crew. So if we have a remote shoot, helping put that together. So that's why Atlanta was really fun, because I really had to do a lot of work, which was awesome. And it felt really good. And that's really it. Just like help manage the crew, help direct the talent. At the beginning I was doing a lot more like hands-on, like directing and create, but they're so good now at what they do. So I'm sort of just like there to assist with the production and creativity if I can.
Yeah, man, that's cool. That's cool. Is that traditionally what like a producer does? I know you're a showrunner, right? But for movies, like what the fuck do they do?
Right. So a producer, when you win Best Picture, it's the producer winning that award, because the producer hires the director. Wow. The producer finds the writer. Now there are producers that work for a studio already. So like 20th Century Fox, which doesn't exist, has in-house producers. But if you're a producer. So even now I try to get like screenplays made. I have a friend who wrote. So it's like, as a producer, it's like trying to like find a studio to make the movie, try to find the writer to write the script. Now it's like calling the director. It's like, you're just the guy making it all happen. And they really do that. But there's different types of producers. Line producer is like handling the hiring of the people, they're going to hire the PAs and stuff like that and make sure everyone's getting paid. And associate producers are just like helping, out. And
what about an executive producer?
Executive producer. So on a television show, an executive producer is probably like dealing with sponsorships. So like an executive producer on a big show is probably like, talking to like Delta to try to like get Delta involved for, hey, we're doing a segment where it's like, fly yourself anywhere in your mind. And so they'll be like, hey, Delta, we're actually doing a segment this week called Fly Yourself Anywhere in Your Mind. Think you could be a great sponsor. So for the Logan show, it's like I reached out to a couple of people. Hey, we're doing this show in Miami. It's going to be X amount of viewers. We're open to brand partnerships. Let's talk. And so then in a television show, a producer is also going to, what is a producer going to do? I mean, the producer is like the worker of the show. It's like they're the ones it's their set. Like they're the ones that are like, they're not going to boss the director around, but it's like they're the ones hiring the director and telling the director, like giving the director a job. Yeah. The producer is the one that's like, the show or the movie is like a business. Yeah. And they got to put all the people to like make the business happen.
It seems like the glue, right? Like you're putting this piece together, right?
But executive producer on a television show that's scripted is the boss.
Okay.
Because on a movie, the director is the boss. The producer hires the director and sort of gets out of the way, unless you're like Joel Silver or, Weinstein. Those guys are, or like The Rock. He's really just hiring flunkies to like do what he says.
Of course,
really.
of course.
No offense to any of his directors. But on a movie, the director is really the boss. On a television show, the executive producer is a boss. So the executive producer is usually like the head writer, or it's the one who created the show. And like a TV director is really just like a hired hand. Of course, they of course, they have so much to do with what happens on the show. But like at the end of Seinfeld, it says executive producer Larry David. Larry's not directing the show, but he's the boss. So the director of a television show is like literally saying, okay, camera this way, camera this person. The executive producer, it's his vision. Like it's his vision. So
I love that. I love that. Did you ever think that you'd be I guess it's like, I don't know, I guess I can answer my question myself. It seems like everything that you've done, putting together the videos in the beginning for Ultra, doing this, doing that, has then kind of led you to be able to easily maneuver through what you're going through right now.
Yes. All I want is the end. Well, no, not all I want. One of the main things I want is to create a global format. And yeah, at the end, created by Mark Burnett. Love that.
Yeah.
So to see created by, like, that was a big thing. Like in that like era of reality television, like seeing created by Mark Burnett at the end of like every show was like really powerful.
It's fucking huge. Man.
Yeah. Like that's
huge.
Definitely what I want to do, And so, I want to create one of these like global formats that like you fucking get paid millions of dollars. Cause if it sells in 130 character, 130 territories, like you gonna be chilling.
No,
you gonna be chilling. You gonna be. So I'm trying to chill like that. And so created by. But it's not even about the credit. It's just like being able to like create something.
Yeah.
So
to bring it back a little bit, this past year, right, with COVID and the lockdown, the pandemic, and everything like that. How has that been for you? Because I always like to ask people that work in the industry and shit like that.
Very good question. Is there going to be any close-ups, by the way? We're going to punch in at all? Okay. I'm feeling good now. Now I'm waking up a little bit.
Yes.
I had a little microdose yesterday too.
Yes.
A little microdose. I smoked weed for the first time in like ages.
Holy shit.
I had like a little inhale. Like that's all you need. Like just like one puff. I'm good. Had a couple of. I was feeling good. Yeah, actually, COVID was pretty good for me creatively. I created something called All New Seinfeld, where if you're a fan of Seinfeld, you can go to Instagram, All New Seinfeld, and you'll see all new 1-minute original scripts and little web episodes of Seinfeld where I played all the characters. And I wrote them all. So I love Seinfeld. It's one of the things I'm passionate about. We talked about like passion, like hair. I like hair and haircuts. And Seinfeld. Like that's really it. Like I'm struggling. I struggle to find like what I'm passionate about, but like, I'm definitely passionate about Seinfeld. And so I think at the time I was locked out of my friend's Hulu account or something. And like that's how I watched Seinfeld. And so I was like, oh, fuck. And so just to get my fix, I just started thinking of like little quick, literally like in my head, that's how I think. I just think and like I think about Seinfeld all day, really. And so in the absence of watching the show, but I still think in terms of Seinfeld, I just started thinking in terms of the characters talking about like new things.
Love that.
And so it was COVID. There was nothing going on. I was like in my house and I just started shooting these little episodes. Feel free to pull it up.
Yeah. Pull it up.
Instagram.com/allnewseinfeld. And basically.
You might have to sign in. Yeah, I don't think I'm signed in on that one.
That's okay. Anywhere else to see him?
Here. I'll pull it up and then I'll airdrop it to. Give me 1 second. Let me pull this up. I never do this shit, but yeah, I was checking it out the other day. All right, here we go. All new. Let me see. We're pulling this up. Let me see if I can airdrop. Not airdrop. Let me share my phone. Here we go. Hold on, let's check this out.
Nice.
Oh, there we go.
Oh my God, there it is. There's All New Seinfeld. So that's just a photo, but
yeah.
If you go to 9, episode 9.
Good 9, right? This one?
Yeah.
Holy shit. Oh my gosh. So right now we're watching All New Seinfeld. You can go to All New Seinfeld on Instagram, and you're literally playing each character.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about this. Like, why this? Like, I know COVID and everything like that, but. Come on, are you serious, dude? Look at your hair. Are you fucking kidding me? How long does this take you to do?
I'll tell you.
Holy shit. Yeah, this is cool, man. This is really cool. And so what? They're just all 1-minute clips.
They're all like 1 minute plus, like no longer than 2 minutes, but this one's probably like 1:30.
Holy shit. This is episode 9, right?
Episode 9 is the last one I did.
How long ago was it?
Dude, I think this is almost a year ago now because I did this at like the beginning.
What are you shooting it on?
iPhone.
There we go. Yeah, fucking iPhone quality is just
I
getting
know,
so
but
good.
early on I didn't know how to do it, and the early ones are really good, but they're cloudy.
Oh, shit. So wait, just all shot on an iPhone vertically?
All shot on the iPhone vertically, but what happened was, so like episodes 1 and 2, I shot it on the iPhone vertically, but I didn't realize that on Final Cut, it's better to change the actual place it's living on to vertical and not like. So what I was doing was I was uploading the vertical video to a horizontal frame, and then after it exported, I was just cutting off the board, like the sides, which I thought like would do the trick. Then I realized if you turn the Final Cut platform to vertical and you just upload the vertical video there, the quality doesn't change at all. It
1920 by 1080.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That exactly.
Yeah.
So once I figured that out after episode 2, they started looking a lot better. And the first, like honestly, the first and second one might be my favorite ones because they were like the first ones. And after the first 2, I was like, oh shit. And then it just started coming to me and writing them. And so I got into a little pattern where I had them like, I had like the next like 7 written, which was awesome because that's like where the work is really. And that's why I haven't done it in like a year because it like takes a lot to like write them. No, those take 8 hours basically.
Each one.
Yeah.
Each one.
Yeah.
Jesus,
From
man.
start to finish of like editing it because the acting and the do a couple takes and stuff like that. I think that might be the first time I've ever said that.
And you're filming it all by yourself. Do you know how to set it up? Yeah. So right in the right corner. Oh, sorry, man. Hold on a second. Let me just help.
No worries. No worries.
You ate. Damn, how do you do this with no headphones on? I can't even hear myself.
I love it.
Yes. And we're back, ladies and
And
gentlemen.
we're back.
So 8 hours to film one of those, all by yourself.
All by yourself. I set up the tripod. I know what everyone's going to say. All the characters are going to say. So I set up the tripod as the person I'm talking to looking at me. I do probably the whole thing standing there.
Yeah.
And then flip it and change and do the other person and do all 4 of them. And then, but what I'm saying is COVID, we're not doing anything home all day, you know? And it was amazing. Look, like the Instagram is not popping. There's not that many views. I did put a little ad buy behind them, which like people got talking like on the Facebook group, like they love it. People love it. The Reddit group, like they love it. Like Jason Alexander retweeted one, which was like amazing. So that one has like 30,000 views, which was awesome. And so like that, the quality of the work and like the joy that I was getting from that, like, so the same thing of like when I was in high school and I was in the auditorium performing and everyone was laughing and I was like, okay, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. When I've been putting out the Seinfeld stuff, the creativity that I'm putting out, feeling successful and productive because of like the creativity that I'm putting out, plus like the reaction from people that are really fucking with it, plus like what we were talking about earlier. It's like, oh, when you do your thing, it's like natural and then people come to you. It's like everything was clicking. I was like, now I haven't done it in a year, but like when I was doing it, I was like, okay, this is definitely what I'm supposed to be doing, like creating more content. And that's what I always was doing. But like, dude, it's like, I gotta make money. Like it's hard for me to think about like doing that when like I have to make money. And that's what's hard. And it's like, that's why eventually, like when I do have nice money to be generous, like I definitely want to like give creators money, not even like to create, sure, but just like, here, your shit is taken care of. Like, do what you got to do.
Of course, man.
You know, the other side is that, okay, we'll pay for your production, but not even that. It's like, we'll pay for your rent and go do what you got to do. Because when you're allowed, when your brain is free to think about that stuff, that's where your brain goes. So everyone's like, oh, when are you going to do them again? I was like, yeah, I would like to. It's just like, I got to write them, you know?
Yes.
Because I wrote them all, and which was really fun. So that's what I did in COVID. And then I wrote and shot the short. So I did that at the beginning of COVID. And basically, so in like March, April, May, June was like that. Yeah. All new Seinfeld. And then like November is when I shot the pilot. And so that was writing a little bit in there. So it was honestly pretty good creative wise. And
have you ever seen that movie, Flow, Soul?
Yeah,
dude, you know,
loved
that flow,
it.
That
Ball.
flow.
I mean, balled when he was playing the piano in that scene with like the retro. Woo!
Yes, that's exactly the first thing I thought when you're talking about it. Right, is like being able to find that flow, whatever creative outlet you're in, whatever it is, man. to have that flow, and
Yeah.
it's just there's
And
nothing
honestly,
better.
it's like that's when you like all your anxiety is gone because like you're not even worried because like, okay, even if the money's not right there right then, it's like it's all good because like you're putting out what you want to put out and like you know it's gonna come. When I'm doing nothing is when I really get in trouble. Like when I just don't feel good. Like even just this week, I had a tough week because I was working on that self-made thing for like 4 days, and my brain was like so invested into this thing, and I was feeling good too because I was like in the morning, boom, working till like 10 o'clock at night, writing shit, calling people, having to do things for like 4 days. It took a lot of energy and time because I had to get it in, and I was feeling amazing and just feeling productive. And then like when I hit send like on Monday at like 1 o'clock, like since then I've just been like kind of lost this week, even though like I have stuff to do. I just got to like wrap my head around doing it. You know, it's not a perfect system, but
it's ebb and flow though. That's how life is, man. You know?
But yes, and so but like during those times when you're not feeling good, that's why I'm a little jealous of like people that surf or whatever. If it's like just go surf, man, just like go surf for the week, and it's like, and then come back and worry about your shit instead of like sitting there at the computer being like I have nothing to do.
It's, you have to find a hobby, right? You have to find something that distracts your mind, whatever the fuck it is. Earlier you said that yesterday you had microdosed and took a little puff. I'm a huge believer in psychedelics if used correctly. I've talked about it so many times on the podcast. For you, those experiences what does microdosing do for you?
Well, I had given one to my friend the other day, and he was like, dude, we took it 3 hours ago. We don't feel anything. Are we doing anything wrong? I'm like, this is exactly what you're doing wrong because a microdose, it's like, you're not like high. You're not like feeling anything. Like, you're just good. Like, you're just chilling. And so I like it because it kind of just like, well, going to that party that I was like working, and I was like kind of anxious about like, oh, like I don't want to work, like it's gonna be embarrassing. I was like, let me just eat this, and like nothing's gonna bother me.
Of course.
And I didn't even need to eat that for that to happen, but it definitely like helped. And so when I have a microdose, stress free, worry free, senses are heightened a little bit. Everything's just good. Like you're just chilling.
It opens up a part of your brain where it's like you're not normally used to it. So it's like if you're anxious, if you're depressed, if you want to get in a creative flow, all these different things, it's not meant to make you start tripping.
No,
right? But it's meant to open.
And
up.
I think whatever you're doing, it actually allows you to like focus on that. So like yesterday I could tell like when I'm talking to someone, like I'm really talking to them, like I'm really engaged with them. I'm present. And that's a beautiful thing to be present, because at the end of the day, if you could just be present, everyone would be okay.
Of course.
Because the only moment that ever existed is right now.
Yes.
Or will ever exist is right now. And that's the truth. So it's like, because depression is like when we get sad about what happened in the past, and anxiety is when we get worried about what's going to happen in the future.
Absolutely.
And I mean, that's the crazy thing. It's like, I can remember, like I remember in college and people were like talking about anxiety. I was like, I have no idea what you're talking about. Like I literally never was anxious I didn't know. I could not relate to somebody that had no concept of what that was. And then I actually remember the first time I actually had felt that feeling. And it was like at an ultra actually, because like I could tell that like now it's not fun and games anymore. It's like, this is actually like what I'm going to be doing for a living. And like now I got to get serious and like figure this shit out. And just like being here for fun, like, is not good enough. And so I remember feeling like cloudy in my head, and like my stomach was kind of like, I mean, it's become more of a regular feeling now, you're used to it, but like, yeah, growing up, no idea about anything like that. And I almost feel like, I guess now it's just becoming an adult, like there's just more shit to think about.
It is.
But it's definitely like, it sucks.
No, it does. It does. It's so funny. I've been talking about this a lot. Like I was talking to my therapist about it.
Oh, nice. You go to therapy? Sick.
100%.
How often?
Once a week.
God bless. What a luxury.
Huge believer in therapy, but unfortunately there's a lot of terrible therapists out there. So it's about finding the right therapist that works for you. We were even talking about it when I saw him on Friday, right? And 2 years ago when I saw him, right? Because I suffer from manic bipolar disorder, right? And let's talk about that. Let's talk about bipolar. Yeah. So I was, when I was 17 years old, my father passed.
Sorry to hear.
It's life. Thank you though. So when I was 17, I went through that, right? Then I got, addicted to some drugs and was just trying to find my way, dude, and just kept on fucking crashing and crashing and crashing. And, as I got older and I shared my story, how I got into the hair industry and it changed my life and all that. And people have already heard it on here. But I always remember that, I would have these moments in my life where I'm like super up, right? Like everything's fucking, yes, I'm going to fucking take on the world. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, it's like, just
high highs and low lows.
Exactly. And that was continually happening. I'd see a therapist, and saw another therapist, didn't help. Then eventually found a gentleman by the name of Brandon Goreski, and he single-handedly helped me change my life. 2 years ago, for about the first 6 months of seeing him, I was 24/7 just depressed. And the reason being was it was the first time that I was looking at the shit that I've gone through in my entire life, from being homeless to hooked to drugs to losing my father, just so many other things, right? Where I would just bury it and bury it and bury it and bury it deeper and deeper. And I was just vomiting. I remember 4 times a month for 6 months, I would cry my eyes out for a straight hour there. And I would get into like these weird fucking just like super sad, depressed moments where I just thought everything was caving in on me. And then eventually, right, it was like, I don't remember exactly when it happened, but after I threw up enough of the past and everything I went through, things started changing. And I remember I'd go into therapy and I'd only cry for like a half hour. It was like 15 minutes and 10 minutes. And then it was just like, I wasn't sad this week. I didn't get sad today. I wasn't super up today, right? And so then I learned that structure, facing the shit from your past, can help regulate things that I personally go through. I can only talk about myself. And the person that I was 2 years ago to the person that I am today is a completely different person.
Wow, that's amazing to hear.
Different person.
Like your day-to-day homeostasis of thought and feeling
100%.
is different.
100%.
That's awesome.
100%.
That's awesome.
I can now even talk about my father, right? Without bawling my fucking eyes out. I can confront my past without being ashamed of the shit that I did, right? And it's like we all go through our own shit, but it's super important to face it. And so for me, finding a good therapist helped out a lot. I don't take medication for my bipolar disorder whatsoever. Even when I see myself like, why am I sad today? There's no reason. I face it. I talk about it with the people around me because I'm super open and honest about it. And I go through it. And instead of being dragged all the way down, it's good. And on the flip side, the highs I fucking love. So, I'm super productive and crazy.
100%. Now, I'm just asking at this as strictly educational. What classifies someone as bipolar? Like, what makes it bipolar, not just a regular person that gets happy and sad at different times?
Do you mind pulling that up? Type in.
And because I'm not doubting your condition, I'm genuinely
No.
curious because I feel similar all the time. Not that I'm
bipolar.
diagnosing myself, but I'm just saying, like,
bipolar disorder. There we go. And I'm manic, but so for me, and we'll just read this real quick. Okay, bipolar disorder, also known as manic depression, is a mental illness that brings severe high and low moods and changes in sleep, energy, thinking, and behavior. People who have bipolar disorder can have periods in which they feel overly happy and energized, and other periods of feeling sad, helplessness, and sluggishness.
Sign me up.
Yes.
Sign me up. I mean, I feel like that all the time.
And I'm sure that's so many people in this world, right?
Especially creative people, for sure.
Of course, absolutely. And so taking medication for it, I mean, maybe some people medication works, right? But only for me, right? I'm
Manic
not going to
phase may last months or weeks.
Yes, absolutely.
The way I feel about it, it's like, just when I was younger, I was just like always this way. I was always this certain way, right? And now it's like I'm only that certain way once in a while.
Yeah.
Where it's like that was like, oh, I'm myself now. Yeah. Like I was always myself, but now I don't know whether it's being an adult or working on shit, and I guess I don't know. But when I hit those pockets of like, oh, this is who I am. Yeah. It's nice because I don't like being a person that I don't recognize. Sometimes I feel like I'm a person I don't recognize, which is like the worst parts of that shit. And then you get back into your swing of things and you're like, yes, like this is who I am. So I know we have to do the work not to allow like our exterior to create our interior. Yes. But like, I don't know if maybe I'm just different in the way that like I'm really responsive to like my external. Like I really feed off the energy of like what's going on around me. So it's like,
Absolutely.
I really feel and that's why, whether it's like getting that full-time job or whatever it is, like putting yourself in a scenario where you can feel like that more often.
Yeah.
Because it would be nice. Personally, I'll tell you right now that if we flipped it and would be better where it's like, oh, I'm feeling this like way I'm supposed to feel. I'm like, okay, sometimes I feel that other way.
Yeah.
That'd be great. I feel like most of the time I'm feeling like whatever. And like, oh, I get those pockets of like, oh shit, this is what's up.
Yeah.
So I'd like to just find it. I'd like to just flip it and get it like 90-10 the other way.
Well, yeah, and it is. I can only speak from my experiences is, one, obviously having a good therapist. Two, psilocybin and DMT have helped change my
I'd really like to try DMT for sure.
Changed my life. So I'll talk about my DMT experience. I was, this was 4 years ago, 4 years ago, right? I had was flying to New York with my wife, right? And all of a sudden, I just started throwing up controllably on the plane, like nonstop. Long story short, I get sent to the hospital. When I land, right, I'm losing fucking blood. They had to fucking give me blood transfusions, and they couldn't figure out what was going on with me. And I was in the hospital for 3 fucking weeks. I almost died.
Okay, so from just sitting on the plane,
so the reason
to just start throwing up and blood started coming up too.
So what happened was I was throwing up on the plane, couldn't stop. I was like slept in the bathroom. When I land, I go to my mom's place in Jersey and I go to take a dump, right? And it's just blood coming out of my ass, dude.
Holy shit. And at this point you had been doing drugs in your life?
No. It had nothing to do with the drugs. It had nothing to do with the drugs.
Had you been doing drugs in your life at this point? Like
yeah, for sure. But I was already past that. Like I was already past that phase. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Copy. That's the past.
Yeah, for sure. That phase really burnt out like 7-8 years ago, right?
Prior to the throwing up, 7-8 years prior to the throwing up?
Probably 5 years prior to the throwing up.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was way past it, right? But it was due to a medication that I was taking.
So you were on medication?
Yeah, because I suffer from fibromyalgia.
Right.
And so they were giving me a medication called meloxicam, which I long story short, it was cutting the inner lining of my stomach, right? Because it's just fucking terrible medication. And they didn't realize it. And so what happened was so much blood was coming out. I was getting multiple blood transfusions. I ended up getting really sick in the hospital to where like my lungs were getting like just filled up and I couldn't fucking breathe. I was on life support, rushed to the ICU. They were going to have to do like immediate surgery. And they like that whole thing where like they bring the significant other in the back room. You got to sign the fucking paper, like all of that shit. And I ended up, everything turned around. They figured it out, right? But I had prepared myself to die. Like I honestly thought I was dead. I mean, dude, I was fucking hooked up to life support, trach, the whole fucking 9, everything, right? And when I get out, I didn't understand why I was alive. Nothing made sense. And so for 2 months, bro, it was fucking hell. And so I ended up having to go on a work trip to New Orleans. And I do what I have to do, and I get to the hotel that night, and I started like drinking and shit like that, and I was just like crying, and like at this point, like I just wanted to die, like I thought I was gonna die, so I felt like I needed to die. I went crazy, bro. I fucking shaved my head, shaved my eyebrows, my beard, fucking had a manic breakdown. And so I remember, coming home, and it was just like fucking nuts. And like, I didn't know what else to do with my life. I wasn't going to therapy at this point. And my friend had been saving some DMT for me. And I heard that there was, you could have some positive experiences, because I had a lot of positive experiences on psilocybin and LSD, but never DMT. And so I, at this point, like I said, I want to fucking die. I look like a wet seal because I have no eyebrows. It's fucking stupid. So I go to his house, studio. I take the first hit, the second, third, and it's just him and I. And I remember blasting off into this fucking other world. I'm laying on the bed. I was so scared and nervous. But at the same time, I was so comforting. It was so weird. Like I felt naked, but whole. And I remember looking up, right? And I could see this face. And I thought it was my dad. I don't know who the fuck it was. And I just started crying and just like, I just want to die. Just please take me, blah, blah, blah. And whatever it was, it said, no, Brock, it's not your time. You have a lot to do. It is not your fucking time, right? And I remember coming out of the experience And literally, bro, that feeling of wanting to die switched to wanting to be alive. And ever since that moment 4 years ago, my entire fucking life has changed. Entire life, and my emotional and mental intelligence, to my physical, to my relationships with friends and family, my work, this podcast, just like everything in my life has changed. And now I'm at this point where I want to live, and I want to fucking take this world on with everything that I possibly have. And so, I'm a huge proponent for these things if done correctly. And so in a nutshell, that is kind of my experience. And, psilocybin has, I stopped smoking cigarettes because of an LSD trip. I intentionally went into it to quit because I couldn't do anything else to quit. Haven't smoked a cigarette since, right? Fucking same thing with vaping. I just did a psilocybin experience 6 months, a year ago. Haven't fucking hit a vape since, right? So these tools, if used correctly, can really help and transform your life. So I don't look at them anymore as like party drugs. I look at them as, deep soul searching drugs. I'm looking to do an ayahuasca trip up in the next year. So that's something coming up soon. But yeah, man. I think
thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
Amazing story. Epic
you.
story. You've been through a lot. You had a lot of perspective for sure. And that's really cool to hear you, say all those things about you want to live, but like beyond live, you want to like take it on.
Yeah, man.
Like, that's what's up.
Absolutely.
I'm with you, bro. I'm ready for some DMT, ayahuasca, all that stuff. Let's get it on.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I really appreciate you coming on the podcast, dude. I do.
So glad to be here. I hope I can impart some wisdom to the people listening, some entertainment value. But yeah, thanks for reaching out. I appreciate that for sure. But yeah, everybody look out for if I post more content for, either All New Seinfeld or the pilot's called Good Kid from Brooklyn. Wish me best wishes to sell that shit.
Yes,
trying to sell some other stuff
yes.
too. And in the meantime, just going to keep working, and, really cool for you to have me. So, and seriously, your professionalism and all that stuff, like you're going to crush it, whatever you're doing. So keep doing it.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Where can people find your stuff?
Yeah, Dylan Landon Live on Instagram. I got my TikTok popping too. But yeah, just reach out. Love to collab. Always looking for videographers and editors and shit like that. So if anybody's out, but yeah, got to create more content this year for sure.
Absolutely, man. I'll introduce you to my video editor, Daniel Bagdasarian. He's a good dude, and he can help you out.
Do you come down to LA and like hang down in LA at all?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I was just down there last night.
For sure. All right, bro.
Yeah, we'll get together for sure, man. For sure.
All right.
Thank you, bro.
Thank you, bro.
Yes. Mazel tov. Oh, fuck that. Bring that in. Boom, motherfucker. Thank you, people.
That was an hour 25. Nice.
Yes.
That went by very fast.
It went by very fast.
You're not Jewish, though.
Yes, I am.
Oh, my God.
Brock Goldberg. Are you fucking kidding me?
That's not what your email says.
Yes. Well, it says... I think
we didn't email.
No,
that's why.
Yeah, we didn't email.
Your Instagram doesn't say that.
Yeah, because it just says back to your story.
I love my guy.
Yeah, I'm another Jew.
I thought you were just like. That's what's up. I thought you were just like Robin Williams. You just like Jewish culture.
Just the pretend Jew.
Your beard says it all. But yeah, I love. My parents are down in Florida. They're just doing their thing. Just crushing it.
That's all. My mom lives in Florida too.
Yeah.
She lives in Wellington. Fucking. What about your folks?
In like Boca Del Rey.
Nice. Yeah. Very, very close.
Boca
Very close. There we go. All right, man. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Doug.
All right. Boom, motherfucker. For the second time. And we're out. Wowzers. Thank you so much for watching the podcast. If you guys like everything that we're doing, definitely subscribe to our channel. You see my head? Hit that right there. And if you guys want to watch more amazing content on Back to Your Story, hit that bad boy right there. Have a good night, people. Peace out. Mother boop.